Hello dear friends of the folded sheet. Today we fold my original car design, which is actually a little intermediate because you need tissue foil to fold it well. Tissue foil is this material you see on the left, which is a compound of tissue and foil, hence the name. Or you can fold it from ordinary kami, but then I recommend you add some glue. And it's actually tricky because the model is three-dimensional and some folds require you to fold in mid-air and there's some gas folds, but I personally don't find it too complicated, so intermediate. So let's go, and we fold a grid first, a square grid, 4x4. Not all creases are actually necessary, but for ease of folding I'll just make all of them, and once you folded the model you'll be able to see which folds are not necessary, and also on my homepage there is a crease pattern to download and look at. So folding in half in both directions and then fold to the center, and then what you can do to make the other divisions more easily is to take the edge and fold it to the first quarter you just generated. Sorry. There you go. And then to the other. That's much easier than trying to fold the inner eighth. And now you can just fold edge to edge here. Alright, so now we have lines. Let's fold in the other direction to make it squares. While you're folding the grid, I'm telling you a small story of how this model came about. Look here for the neat trick I showed you just recently again. So how came this model about? I was on a shared ride, Mitfahrzentrale in Germany, and the guy driving, we talked about what do we do for a living, and I said I fold origami, and he said, well, that's awesome, blah blah blah, because, well, origami artists are not as common as, say, lawyers or doctors or whatever. The point was, he challenged me to fold a car, and I came up with a prototype for it, for this car model in a car. Quite easy, and the idea was to use as much paper as possible and to make it simple. So now we have this grid. You fold both diagonals. Make sure that it goes from one corner to the other. That's way more important than it meeting the edges, because this large of a sheet will probably be incorrect a little bit, so hitting the corners is much more important than hitting the edges. For success in this model, I'm using here a large sheet. I think it's 20 by 20 centimeters, but 15 or smaller will be enough. 15 is easiest to fold, I guess, and the smaller the nicer it looks, in my opinion. So both diagonals, and really take your time and fold it neatly. And then fold the two inner quarters here, and that will be the car. So here is the top, and that is the side, and this will be this side, and this will be the top. Pretty easy, but it's, I think, better if you see where it will be on the pre-specified model. And now we fold this angle bisector. This edge goes to that edge. And as I advertised, you need to basically fold it mid-air and really just feel the paper. And that is on all 4 corners. So you fold edge to edge and the angle bisector there, which then gives, you can support it with your middle finger so it's easier to fold, and then recrease the folds once you're there. Make sure that those corners are really neat so you don't get any crumplings on your car. Unless you're an expert and want to do some 3D folds and give it some tension, that could be a good way of doing it, but let's keep it simple first. And here too. So you see I support it on the back with the other fingers and then I recrease. Okay, so you see now we do the tops, no, the bottom, the lower part of the car, which will, like the bumpers. And don't worry, this is a little hidden because of the way the model is working, but I'll show you the precise way to fold it soon enough. So you fold inside the first quarter part of the paper like this, and then you simply arrange everything to stay flat with that is left over there. And your orientation is basically this 90-degree angle here, and the fact that it's the lower quarter. So the crease is already there and the angle is a 90-degree angle. And here, this leftover part is perfectly fine. This is the way it is. I did the calculations. I revisited my crease pattern. That is the way to fold it. Let's try another way. First fold this and then reinforce the other creases. That makes it a little easier, but in the end, this tutorial is merely a suggestion of how you could do it. It's art. Do it your way. Whatever works best for you. And maybe leave a comment for the others to enjoy your tip. So, on the sides here. And fold it down. I hope I'm folding slow enough now. This is what I'm trying to do with my tutorials, since a lot of you are confused about this. Now we fold from this corner and those edges on top of each other. That are our orientation marks. And we fold through all of those layers there in those 4 flaps. And here too. So from the corner and here edge to edge. And you will notice that the bottom and this diagonally don't meet up here. And that is correct. So this doesn't meet up. There's a small gap. And that is all again perfectly correct. So don't get confused or frustrated as I did. And here too. So from a flying car to whatever this odd shape is called. And now to reinforce the shape, we fold in those flaps here. They're basically already creased, so you just need to reinforce them and make the creases and the white triangles. This helps the shape to stay and makes the car more stable. So this is where we are going for. And we sink those triangles in now. If you don't know what an open sink is, don't worry, we're doing it 4 times, you will get there. So fold down the triangle, align with a smaller triangle of the part where the wheel is connected. Sorry, I'm not a car person, so I don't know the proper vocabulary, but you get where I'm trying to get at. And then you open the whole thing up so a square shape appears, and then close it up again. This should be perfectly aligned now, not as neat as I'm doing the first time, but let's try a second one. And nice and neat, open it up, push into the corner and fold it together again. This worked out better, and you see again there are small white triangles. They are there. It's perfectly fine to have them, don't worry. Okay, now this should be parallel to that, which I screwed up a little. So I'm trying to reorganize it and then reinforce the creases. Make everything flat and close it up again. So this fits neatly together. And for the final time, and this is really the hardest part about it, you're nearly done with your car, as you can probably tell from the way it looks. We're doing the squash fold and close it up again. Lockity lock lock. Sorry, I have a little cold, that is why I'm breathing so heavily during folding. And now, this corner was not as neat as I assumed, but we're there. Now we lock the corners by folding in here. And fold in the corner just as far as the paper allows. There is a layer of paper preventing you from folding it in deeper, and I just choose a 45-degree angle for this crease, but do it whatever you like. I think it looks neat. But this model, again, think of it as a suggestion, not a rule, not an instruction set per se, because I think this model isn't not 100% done yet, but still a nice fold. And what I also like about it, it's pretty large. It makes good use of the paper, which you see in the end when I put it on the black sheet, the same size that I folded from, so it's basically the same size as the blue one. And for the final touches, you create the wheels. I simply do 1 or 2 creases here now, but usually what I prefer to do is to use small coins fitting the size of the paper and simply fold the paper around it and crumple it around the coin, then remove the coin and recrease the crumple creases. And that is usually the best way of folding those wheels. So this looks too, cornery, if this is a word. So I fold in that a little bit, and this gives this a nice edge, a nice touch. It still looks like origami, but you can tell that it's a car. And for the final touches, reopen those flaps. It gives more stability to the shape and looks really nice. So let's poach that open. This is from 15 times 15. tissue foil, and this is with the reduced creases, and that is from 10x10, which I think looks the nicest. This little thingy here. This is tissue foil, my favorite, without glue, and the other ones are a little bit cheated with glue. If you enjoyed this model as much as I did creating it, please subscribe. That would really help me out to provide these videos on a regular basis, even more than I tried the last few years. Subscribe to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Or visit my website, tavinsorigami.com, where there will be some crease patterns around, or what I love most. Please leave me some messages or comments in the video below on Facebook, on Google+. See you next time. Bye bye.